This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 30th day of May in the year 2019. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Opposition leader Barra Jagdeo today shot down reports that the State Asset Recovery Agency intends to lead an investigation into the award of oil blocks, which all took place under the last government. Mr. Jagdeo told reporters at his weekly press conference that SARA cannot head any investigation into the award of oil blocks if that investigation is to have any credibility.
So suddenly we hear they were investigating what took place under the PPP regime when Ramatara was president. And we have no problem with such an investigation. But for any investigation into oil and gas contracts, the award of the contracts, what took place at the negotiation, etc. For that investigation to have credibility, you can't have SARA do it. You need an international organization that has a well-known record of established transparency, has investigated this sort of thing.
Professor Dr. Clive Thomas is the head of the State Asset Recovery Agency. He was recently quoted by the international media as saying that there is a planned probe into the award of the oil blocks in Guyana's waters. SARA wants to investigate the issuance of the license for the oil companies and the various blocks.
So if the government wants to do that, the government should hire a solid international firm with a reputation, not have Clive Thomas do this, who is a member of their party. So he saw nothing wrong, and he was critical about the TIGI, saying we're going up somewhat, blind alley or something, fool's alley, because if you investigate the 18 million signing bonus. Because all that TIGI did was to complain that they were in breach for 3 years nearly of all the financial laws, and they were acting with impunity, the minister was.
Meanwhile, the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce has expressed worry about the investigation, saying that it could turn away investors. But experts in the oil sector have said that they would support the probe, since there are serious questions that must be answered about how some oil blocks were handed out, and who owns all of the blocks that have been handed out. More news coming up in a moment.
You've got this. And we've got you. With Blaze Superfast Internet. Blaze is fast, easy, reliable internet that you can trust. So celebrate, because there's always more to love with GTT.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
As a luxury mechanic, I'm often asked, what gas should I use in my expensive vehicle? In other countries, you have regular and mid-grade gasoline known as 87, 89, and premium gasoline known as octane 93 to 95. For affordable, high-quality fuel, performance, and high mileage, visit Guy Oil today. Choose Guy Oil Super 95. Guy Oil, we are everywhere.
Get your documents ready to be registered. Are you eligible to be registered during GCOM's house-to-house registration exercise? Then you must have either a birth certificate, a valid passport, naturalization certificate or certificate of registration, adoption certificate. Married women may also be asked to present their marriage certificate. Individuals who had a name change, which is not stated on their birth certificate, must present a deed poll along with their original birth certificate. Get your documents ready now and prepare to be registered. If you were previously registered, you will need to be registered again. Be on the lookout. It is your right. Make it your responsibility. For more information, contact GCOM on 225-027729 or 223-9653. Email pro@gcom.org.gy. Contact your nearest GCOM registration office or visit our website www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. The Governance and Security Committee of the Private Sector Commission is requesting yet another meeting with the Public Security Minister and the Police Commissioner to raise concern about the crime situation in the country. Although official statistics provided by the police have shown a decrease in criminal activity, there continues to be a widespread concern across the country about incidents of crime. In a statement on Wednesday night, the Private Sector Commission said it wants the meeting to address the increasing and widespread public concern over the frightening and disturbing incidents of violent crime across the country. According to the PSC, while it acknowledges the most recent success of the police force in confronting violent crime in Berbice and recognizes the continuing efforts of the police to meet the growing challenge threatening the safety and well-being of every citizen, the Commission believes that much more can and should be done to meet the challenge. The Commission said it is deeply concerned that insufficient progress is being made with regards to the implementation of the Security Sector Reform Plan. A few months ago, the Police Commissioner announced that the plan was being implemented. But the Private Sector Commission believes that there is considerable room for enhancement in intelligence gathering and analysis that is currently in place. The Commission said it is convinced of the need for significantly greater human and financial resources being placed at the disposal of the police force. Over $35 billion was allocated to the security sector in the last budget, with the police force receiving a big chunk of that pie. But the Private Sector Commission believes that there is much greater need for public confidence and trust in the police force. The Commission said it looks forward to a strong and uncompromising standard of leadership in the security forces. In the courts now, a man from the Mucka Arcadia community was sentenced to 75 years in jail for the murder of another Mucka resident. 25-year-old Kankasi Lynch was back in court today for sentencing after being found guilty of the murder of mechanic Terence Lanferman 2 weeks ago. In court today, a probation report was submitted to Justice Narendra Singh before sentencing. The report stated that the youth admitted to murdering the mechanic, but said he could not bring himself to apologize to the family or to express remorse. Family members of the dead man sat quietly as tears flowed from their eyes in the courtroom. The judge sentenced the 25-year-old man to 75 years in jail for the 2015 crime. During the trial, it was revealed that the convict stalked the mechanic to rob him and shot him to the chest and face when he opened his door to someone knocking. The judge said it was clear that the murder was premeditated and was actually carefully planned and executed. As part of the 75-year jail sentence, the court was told that the person will deduct the 3 years that the man has already spent behind bars. And 30-year-old farmer Levi Stevens of Kumu Village, Central Rupununi, was sentenced to 12 years in jail today after he admitted to killing his own cousin and burying the body in a shallow grave. Stevens was originally charged for murder but opted to enter a guilty plea to the lesser count of manslaughter. The case is that on March 16, 2017 at Tiger Plate, Central Rupununi, Stevens murdered his cousin Arnold Gordon. It was reported that Gordon was threatening Stevens with a crossbow, and the man responded by hitting him across the head and later using the same crossbow to shoot him. In court, Stevens explained that he was often provoked by the cousin, and on the day in question he lost his temper. The man's attorney also told the court that on the day in question, the two men got into a fight, and his client was forced to defend himself. Before handing down the 12-year jail sentence, Justice Singh told the convict that he should not let his temper get the best of him. Also in the courts, a 36-year-old Ecuadorian man, Julio Cesar Herrera, is behind bars after admitting to a city magistrate that he came to Guyana with a plan to sell fake US visas. He also pleaded guilty to being in possession of a quantity of cocaine. The court was told that on the 23rd of May, during a police operation in the Charlotte Street area, the Ecuador national was found in possession of 2 fake US visas and a small quantity of cocaine. He was immediately arrested and charged with cocaine possession as well as conspiracy to commit forgery. In court, the accused told the magistrate that he was sorry for his actions, but did not realize that possession of small amounts of cocaine and forgery were such serious offenses in Guyana. He pleaded with the magistrate for mercy. The magistrate sentenced him to 4 years in jail, and he is to be deported upon the completion of that sentence. across the region is coming up next.
Falls, a trademark of China's Zhanghao Incorporated, located at Land of Cane in East Bank, Demerara, was incorporated in April of 2013 with over $10 billion Ghana invested in a state-of-the-art 100,000 barrel fuel storage facility, a modern service station, an office complex, and a modern wharf that can berth international vessels. Having no association with any other fuel company, Falls imports its own fuel, which meets quality specifications, has all the legal permits, and is in compliance with international requirements. Its bulk facility can load 8 trucks simultaneously at a rate of 1,000 liters per minute, while the service station can service 12 cars at a time using computerized fuel pumps, which can facilitate the use of ATM cards. Through its professional team of mostly Guyanese, Falls wholesales and retails fuels to the public, including farmers and miners, and will continue to positively contribute to Guyana by providing quality products, service, and attractive prices. Try Falls today for all your fuel needs.
You've got this. And we've got you. With Blaze Superfast Internet. Blaze is fast, easy, reliable internet that you can trust. So celebrate, because there's always more to love with GTT.
Across the region right now, Canada says it will launch a $20 million Canadian project to help the Caribbean countries better prepare for and respond to natural disasters. The facility is in partnership with the World Bank and the Global Facility for Disaster Reduction and Recovery, and it will help countries to strengthen response, recovery, and financial management systems so that governments can be better prepared to respond to and rebuild after disasters and effectively use emergency funding for post-disaster recovery activities. Following the devastation caused to several Caribbean countries by the hurricanes in 2017, Canada had pledged $100 million Canadian to support reconstruction and climate resilience efforts in the Caribbean region. Let's tell you now that the governments of Antigua and Barbuda and Suriname have signed an agreement that will serve to finance a development program between the two nations. The agreement was signed in Paramaribo yesterday as Prime Minister Gaston Brown completed the second day of his 3-day official visit to Suriname. The agreement signed with the CARICOM Development Fund will finance elements of the country assistance program for Antigua and Barbuda and will also support cooperation with Suriname. The Prime Minister told reporters that based on Antigua and Barbuda's need for food security, the partnership with Suriname is crucial to help increase the production capacity. And finally tonight, international news. Talks between the government and opposition representatives aimed at resolving Venezuela's political crisis have ended without any agreement. The talks in Norway were the first between the two sides since the National Assembly Speaker Juan Guaido declared himself the interim president back in January, arguing that President Nicolas Maduro's re-election was fraudulent. Despite the lack of progress, both sides said they wanted to continue the talks. No date has been set for a next round. A government delegation consisting of the Foreign Affairs Minister and the Information Minister met an opposition delegation made up of lawmaker Stalin Gonzalez and former Minister Fernando Martinez and former lawmaker Geraldo Balde. The talks were held in the Norwegian capital of Oslo. In a statement released after they were finished, the Norwegian Foreign Ministry urged the parties to show their utmost caution in their comments and statements regarding the process. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting.